I should have trusted my gut the moment she said she found an apartment in my building's neighborhood by pure coincidence. My name's Trevor, and I lived in downtown Portland for about 3 years before this happened. Normal life, normal job at a tech startup, normal everything. I'd been dating this girl named Cassidy for maybe 4 months when things got weird. It started small. I couldn't find my house keys one morning. Then my favorite jacket went missing from my closet. I figured I was just being careless, leaving stuff at her place or whatever. But then more things disappeared. A coffee mug I used every day, my gym card, little stuff that made me second-guess myself constantly. One day Cassidy texts me saying she got transferred to a new office, and guess what? She found this great apartment right across the street from mine. What are the odds, right? I thought it was cool at first, convenient. But then she kept showing up in my lobby, always with some reason. She needed to borrow sugar. She thought she saw my cat in the hallway, even though my cat never left my apartment. She was checking her mailbox, but somehow ended up on my floor instead. The really messed up part started when packages began arriving. I'd go to pick up my Amazon order and the front desk guy would say someone already grabbed it. I'd find it later, shoved under Cassidy's door with a note saying she was holding it for me. But I never asked her to do that. I found receipts in my jacket pocket one day. Bar tabs from my usual spot. All paid off. I never paid those tabs. When I asked the bartender, he said my girlfriend had been coming in and covering them. The dates went back 2 months before she even moved across the street. Then my phone started going crazy with these location notifications from an app I definitely didn't download. Every time I opened it, it crashed. I took it to get looked at, and the guy said someone had remote access. The night I found the note, I was coming home from work around 9 p.m. There was this folded paper under my doormat. When I opened it, my hands started shaking. It was my grocery list from yesterday, but not just the items. Times written next to each one. The exact times I'd left my apartment that week. I went straight to the building superintendent the next morning and asked about the crawl space between units. He got this look on his face and said someone had been using it to move between apartments for months. They'd been trying to figure out who. I checked my storage locker in the basement that same day. Inside was a shoebox that wasn't mine, full of photographs. Me walking to work, me at the coffee shop, me sleeping through my bedroom window. Hundreds of them. When I called the cops, Cassidy showed up acting all concerned, like a worried neighbor. She played it perfectly. They couldn't do shit. I moved out 2 weeks later to a place in Seattle. Different city, different building, completely random location I found online. First day there, I'm unpacking boxes and I see it, hanging on a hook by my new front door, her spare key. I still don't know how she knew where I moved. I never thought I'd end up telling this to anyone, but here goes. My name's Elias Thorne, and this all happened back in Seattle last year. I was working as a mechanic at a shop downtown, fixing cars all day, Long hours, but it paid the bills. That's where I met Mira. She showed up one afternoon to get her old Honda tuned up. We hit it off right away. She was perfect at first, always on time for dates, super supportive when I'd rant about crappy customers. She'd even bring me sandwiches and energy drinks during my late shifts. "Can't have you crashing from hunger," she'd say, with that sweet smile. Things were good for a few months. We moved fast, I guess. She started staying over at my apartment in Capitol Hill. I remember how my old fridge would hum loudly at night, like it was trying to join our conversations. But then, I don't know, I felt smothered. She was always there, planning every minute. So, one evening after work, I told her we should break up. "It's not you, Mira, I just need space." Her face went blank, then she nodded. "Okay, Elias, if that's what you want." But it wasn't over. The next day, she called my boss, saying I looked tired and maybe needed a day off. "I'm just helping," she texted me later. Then she offered to drive me to work every morning. I said no, but she'd show up anyway, waiting in her car outside. Weird, right? And then stuff started going missing from my toolbox at the shop. A wrench here, some pliers there. I figured it was a co-worker messing around. My car started acting up too. First, a loose wire in the engine that made it stall at lights. Then the brake light kept flickering out, no matter how many times I replaced the bulb. I chalked it up to bad luck. One night, I was driving home on A5, rain pouring down like it does in Seattle. Suddenly, the steering wheel jerked hard, almost locked up. I panicked, swerved off the road into a ditch, mud everywhere, heart pounding. The tow truck guy said it looked like someone tampered with the steering linkage. Shit, that scared me. I checked the traffic cams online later. There was this shadow, looked like a person, crossing the lane right before my car went nuts. And get this, my apartment building's entry logs showed Mira swiping in that same night, even though we'd broken up weeks ago. She still had a key. I confronted her, but she denied it. Then my phone blew up with texts, apologies from me to her, stuff like, "I'm sorry I overreacted, baby." She claimed they were drafts I'd written while drunk, but I don't drink much, and I sure as hell didn't write them. Neighbors started giving me dirty looks. One guy, old Mr. Jenkins next door, said he'd complained to the housing association about my anger issues, yelling at night apparently, but I live alone, quiet as a mouse. It felt like she was setting them up. I got paranoid, started recording everything, found audio files on her phone once. She'd left it at my place by accident. They were her practicing conversations. He's not safe without me. I have to keep him dependent. The worst was the notebook I found hidden in her bag when she showed up uninvited. Last page had a checklist. Stage minor scare, escalate sympathy, keep him dependent. I bolted, changed locks, got a restraining order, but sometimes I still see her car parked down the block. Or maybe it's just paranoia. I don't know anymore. That fridge hums louder now, like it's warning me. I was living in Chicago when the first weird thing happened. My name is Evan Rios, and I think about it every night. I met her at a small gym in Austin. She knew my coffee order before I said it. I thought it was cute. Then she started showing up where I went. Same gym time, same bench, same cold brew. I leave my shoes by the door a lot because I'm lazy. The floorboards creak when my cat runs across them. At first it was small. She sent a receipt from a bakery I never used. She took a picture of my mailbox. She said, "You forgot this." I laughed and blocked her. It did not stop. She watched the way I tie my shoes. She left a hoodie on my chair that smelled like her. She made accounts like mine, one letter off. People messaged my friends saying sorry for things I never did. My old girlfriend in Seattle told me she thought I was being strange. I explained. She did not believe me. I checked my bank. An alert said a tablet from an apartment registered to her address logged in. The bank wanted proof. I felt small. She talked to my exes and friends. She showed them side-by-side pictures. "See," she said, "this is him. This is me." She cried and they felt sorry. She made a life out of my photos. One day I went to her place. Bad idea. I wanted proof. I opened a filing cabinet. I found a scrapbook, Polaroids, staged moments, cutouts from my posts. A page had a plan. Be everything he was. Make him the story people laugh at. Take his life quietly. The room felt wrong. On the back of another page was a date. It was circled. It was the day she wrote to a woman using my name. She said, "You've been seeing me in my new life. I like being him." I left with the scrapbook under my jacket. My hands shook and my keys dropped. Marco in Boston kept saying go to court. I thought it would make it worse. I even drove to Seattle once to talk to an ex who cried. I forgot to water my plant the week after. Little things stacked. I told myself to be brave, but I kept checking my phone. When someone rang my door, I opened too fast because I was tired. Bad move. So stupid. The date came. I was in Los Angeles. I could not sleep. I drove to a park where I used to run. I saw her across the street. She pushed a stroller. The kid looked like he could be mine in a different life. She smiled like a neighbor. I did not call the police. I walked away. I moved. I changed numbers. I changed everything. The police kept a file, but said it was not enough to lock her up. I burned the pages I had. I still have the photo of the circled date on my phone. Now sometimes I walk past a coffee shop in New York and think I see her. I worry I will get a message with my name and pictures, and someone will say sorry for me. I I don't know why I didn't stop her. I don't know if she stopped. I know one thing. Once she called me a motherfucker with a smile, like she had won.